welcome into another tutorial where we're going to be using Picot as demonstrated on the mandala. Now let's pretend I have finished a blanket here. We're going to pretend. I'm going to be using Darren Moore's Studio DK anti-pilling, just a little bit of scrap to show you what's going on. And as you can see, I've already worked up one little thing. We're going to pretend it's a blanket, okay? Pretend it's a blanket. It's a blanket. Look, it's brilliant. Okay. Also going to be using my custom made hook, which will be linked down below if you want a custom hook to your own design. I'm going to slip stitch into a corner to begin with. I'll just go around the small edges just to get them over and done with very quickly, but I hope you will be able to see what's going on, and any mistakes that happen, they will be left in because I'm only human and mistakes happen. So there you go. Okay, so let's get round this corner, just doing a standard single crochet. See, mistakes. Well, that's my own mistake, but thankfully this isn't doing anything major, so my blanket will be temporarily rectified. Okay, so just doing single crochets to begin with, and then I will show you Picot. So I'm going to go into this next stitch and do the stitch that I need to do around the edging. For this instance, it will be a standard single crochet. So I will go in and yarn over and pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and now I will picot, chain 3. Okay, and now we need to do a slip stitch into here. Now there's a diagonal and a straight stitch. We're only going under one loop of both of these. So now I have 3 loops on my hook, yarn over and pull through all 3 on my hook. And I'll go into the next stitch for a single crochet because that's the stitch that I'm mainly doing. And there's my little picot, little knobbly bit just there. So let's go again, and I'll go into here and do a single crochet, and then I will chain 3. Oops. Okay, and now I need to find those 2 stitches. Now if I pull that there, okay, so you see there's one stitch diagonal, just oops. Okay, thanks lighting, cheers. I'm only human. So there's one diagonal just here, and there's one that is vertical just there. So the diagonal comes from the previous stitch and the vertical comes from the current stitch. So the diagonal, you want to go under one loop of the diagonal just there, and you want to go under one loop of the vertical just here. Oops, try that again. There we go. So that's the vertical. So when you go under both, you'll have the 2 loops on your hook, the diagonal and the vertical, and that's what you're aiming for. So let's pick back up the hook, and we're going into the diagonal and the vertical. Yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on your hook, and then carry on to the next stitch. Okay, so there we have another picot. So let's continue. I'll do a single stitch and another single stitch. Now this is only just to show you what's going on, nothing reality, like it's not actually becoming an actual project, so you know, I'm not looking for perfection here. So here we have the diagonal, we're going under the diagonal and through the vertical, 3 loops on my hook. You can see I haven't gone into the back loops, just the front. So 1, 2, 3, yarn over and slip stitch through all 3 and finish off by doing the next stitch like so. So let's do one more maybe. Let's do one more. Okay, so I'm doing my single stitch and going into the next one, and that's where I'll do the picot. So I want to chain 3 and then look for those 2 loops under the diagonal, under the vertical, 3 loops on my hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 to make my 4th picot. Okay, so there I have 4 standard picots. Now I'm going to go around this corner. Yes, I could picot around it, but I'm sure you'll be bored. But I'm going to go onto the other side and show you big picot, because it isn't all that different, so I may as well leave it in the same tutorial, you know. So for big picot I am going to be doing, my standard stitch will be double, no, I'm going to do half double crochet. That's a double, Lisa. Are we doing doubles? Yeah, let's do doubles. Okay. So for a big picot, we're chaining 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this is easier to see where you're going in. You're looking for that diagonal and the vertical again, but you see this time we have a split and we're going into the join of that split just up here where the diagonal and the vertical meet. So we're going under the diagonal, through to the vertical, yarn over and pull through as before, and then go into the next stitch and carry on. And that is the big picot. You see, all it is doubling the chain. So let's go in okay, let's jazz it up a little bit. We'll do a picot here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we're looking for that join where the diagonal meets the vertical, and we're heading into the 1 loop only as before. You're not going into the back, just that front loop. And then I'll finish off my stitch, and then we have 2 standard picots. Picot, 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 picot. Okay, so another little demonstration that we can do here is just show you that it can work out to be a little bit fancy. So sometimes a little bit of fancy schmancy goes a long way. So I'm going to do shell stitch, and right in the middle of the shell I'm going to crochet 1, 2, 3 and go into the diagonal and vertical to do a slip stitch for a standard picot. And finish that shell off. So there you go, we have the arch with the picot in the middle, just to make it a little bit schmancy. So let's see if we can go schmancy again. So I'll do another shell, but in the middle, instead of doing a standard picot, I am going to do a big picot. So I've chained 6, and now I need to find where the diagonal and the vertical meet, and it does stand up out when you've got it in front of you. It does. It's not hard to find, or shouldn't be hard to find. So finish off my shell, and then I have a shell with a big picot in the middle and a shell with a little picot in the middle. Okay, so there we go. Should I do one more large picot? And just finish it off. Why not? At least you've seen how. Okay, so there we have just a little demonstration. So we've got a large picot on a shell, we have a small shell with a picot in the middle, just there. We have the big picots coming off of a double crochet, and then on the other side we have the single crochets with the standard picots in place just there. Of course, with this type of stitch, it is seen both sides of whatever project you are making. But there we have it. Picots, nice and easy. Hope it helped you. I hope. So if it did, please, please, please take a look at this, and you could end up going a little bit fancy schmancy. So you see here I've got all the picots around the edge, and then we've got fancier ones in the middle to make petals, and it's as easy as that. Give it a go, because you never know. Give a thumbs up if it helped, please, and of course subscribe down below would be much appreciated. Till then, see you next time.